Yeehaw, folks. I've always wanted to start off with that, something like that. Let's talk about Brian. Did he win $1 million this week? Stay tuned to find out. I am your host, Moose, and this is the Week 12 edition of the $1 Million Mission. You can follow me on Twitter at CFB_Moose. I'm from OccupyFantasy.com, at OccupyFantasy on Twitter. I'm alongside co-host Brian Jester FF on Twitter. What's up, man? How's it going today?
What's up, Moose? I am good. Busy week.
Yeah.
It's an interesting week because we have Thanksgiving on Thursday. So if you're watching this live, if you have questions about Thanksgiving, the 3-game slate, the showdown slate, go ahead and ask them. I think this might be your only time to get those answered. Maybe we'll do a Periscope Thursday morning. We'll see how things go. But this is mostly to review last week's lineups, talk about high level, high risk strategy. But yeah, everything's good. Getting ready for Turkey Day? You ready?
Absolutely, yeah. Got the Occupy model up and running at OccupyFantasy.com. If you're watching this real quick on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification to be notified of when we upload new videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you have questions about Turkey Day, about Brian's $1 Million Mission, make sure you leave a comment. We'll make sure to get to your answer before the games go off. If you're watching us here on Twitch, appreciate you guys joining in live. If you're not live, still go ahead and hit that follow button so you get notified of when we do go live. I guess we'll be back at Saturday talking about the main slate for Sunday. But let's jump right into it. This is $1 Million Mission of Week 12. Brian, do you want to tell them what the $1 Million Mission is for the people who aren't here before?
Yeah, if you've never seen this before, this is where we review my previous week's 150 lineups. FanDuel and DraftKings look at the results, look at the players I used, look at some of the users who won money in those contests, what they did. Really, this series is kind of twofold. One, it allows us to talk about 150 max and 20 max strategy because we've partnered with DFS Magic, the lineup builder, and many people are starting to use that. So, lineup builders, you can't just go in and build them, click a button and spit them out and hope it works. There's a lot of strategy that goes behind it. And then two, I won the $1 million back in February, trying to replicate that success. And just a little bit of a journey, a little fun time to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And there has been some controversy more than lately about lineup optimizers. Maybe we'll get to that in a little bit. But I see a couple people here in the chat. Vismo, what's up? General Degree, what's up? General Degree is a Twitch Prime subscriber. Bismo is a VIP member. If you're either one of them, if you're a Twitch Prime subscriber, you get access to our Discord channel where we chat it up a lot when we can't do it on these Twitch streams. Really, really fun there. Go ahead and subscribe. You can get it for free with your Amazon Prime subscription. Once that's done, if you can't find the Discord server, go ahead and hit us up. We'll give you access to it. Really fun time over there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the Discord's always good. And especially for the smaller sports too. NHL, college football Saturday mornings, lots of good discussions going on between the members, and then of course tilting showdown slate. So
yeah, absolutely. So let's jump right into it. If you see the top, that's Brian's top 10 most leveraged plays on DraftKings for the $1 Million Mission. What that is his exposure across 150 lineups minus what the field was. So the people who are at the very top, Brian Hill, Jordan Matthews, AJ Brown, he wanted them to do well to help him shoot up that leaderboard.
a true murderer's row of players.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. As we see here, let's see how you did on a weekly basis on FanDuel. Minus 37% ROI with one satellite ticket, 1.3 entry fees, 840 in winnings.
Yeah, the fact that I only had one satellite ticket kind of tells you how the rest of the week went for me. But also, I can't play any contest below $3 on FanDuel now because of the winnings.
Life?
Because what?
The How Rich Life?
I guess, yeah. It's if you win a certain amount and if you've played a certain amount, you're not allowed to play contests below $3. I'm at that threshold now, so that's where a lot of the Sunday Million satellites are. So again, it's tough for me to get tickets over there now.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And then on DraftKings, a little worse. 27.60 in entry fees, 13.45 in winnings for minus 51% ROI. Not the best.
Yeah, not great. Yeah, we'll talk about why here in a second with the game stacks.
Yeah.
And as Bismo says in the chat, Jordan Matthews, LOL. Yeah, so that sums it up too.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. But let's look at it from a year-to-date standpoint. On DraftKings, your year-to-date ROI is minus 43%. But on FanDuel, it is still plus 787%. For those who don't know, was it 4 weeks ago? You got second in the Sunday Million for 100K.
Yep.
So that's really awesome. And when you combine that, your overall entry fee is 51,000, which is just an insane number to think about. 132,000 in winnings for an ROI of 259%. The best number
And
that I see there is at that bottom, that 519 satellite tickets.
yeah, basically 3 weeks for free. So that certainly helps. And yeah, this week sucked. But as we've talked about literally every week this season, all it takes is one spike week. And as you've seen on DraftKings, the Millionaire Maker, the Sunday Million on FanDuel, those contests are freaking hard. The payouts are terrible. And unless you have tickets, you probably shouldn't play them because the payouts are that top heavy. So you can beat 160,000 people and not even double your money. So really tough times for most players watching this. It should be a testament that those contests are really hard and you shouldn't play them.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have the right game theory, the right greatest projection system, the greatest optimizer, you still need a little bit of that fairy dust on your side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it needs some last gets fit magic.
Absolutely. So, let's talk about some of your top plays. If I get this image off the screen, and what we have here is Fantasy Labs Contest Dashboard. Is a free resource that I highly recommend everyone to go check out. Check it out, fantasylabs.com. Hover over the sport and go to Contest Dashboard. You can look at everyone's player pool and their exposures and their leverages across the top GPPs. And so I guess you ran it back the week before. Brian Hill, your most leveraged player at 41% leverage. Do you want to take us through that?
I deserve to lose every dollar I lost last week. Like I couldn't on both sites. I really couldn't get the exposures I wanted. FanDuel was fine. DraftKings, the shit was not working right, and I had to wait till Sunday morning to make my lineups because of some news. I really wanted to stack that Philly game, and then Alshon Jeffrey being in and then out really changed a lot of things for me. Unfortunately, him being out also made me play a bajillion shares of Jordan Matthews.
Yeah.
So, a rough week all around. So, in order to fit the stacks I needed to on DraftKings, I needed cheaper players. Brian Hill, for God knows whatever reason, ended up in 40% of my lineups, and I didn't. Again, it was a race against time, which was a rare issue for me. Normally, I'm able to get things done, but race against time, and I didn't take the initiative to get him out of enough lineups. I said I'll trust trust the optimizer in this sense because he wasn't even that high up in the model, right?
Yeah, he wasn't that high up, and you know what kind of when I first saw this, it kind of stood out for me is you have a lot of Jordan Matthews, but where's the other guy that's missing there? JJ Arcega-Whiteside, who was relatively around the same OF index in the model. I guess the optimizer just stuck with one, and
it was me. That was my decision.
Okay.
I saw Matthews get 6 targets, 80 air yards the week before, played 90% of the snaps. I figured he would be the guy there. Arcega-Whiteside, they still aren't that confident in.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see him in a lot of pros cash game lineups because I didn't think his playing time was that certain. I thought it was very possible that Mac Hollins would take over Aguilar's role.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought Matthews was the play. It's never a good sign when the guy you have 40% of gets cut the next day.
Yeah, that's not good.
But
on the bright side of things, we got T. Johns here in the chat. It says, "I'm sure you'll bounce back." Thank you for the kind words, T. Johns.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bismo real quick.
Yeah.
Bismo, a longtime follower in the chat. He has a bunch of tickets to, I believe it's the $18 mega qualifier for the FanDuel Fans Championship. For those who don't know, that's the end of year. It's not really end of year. It's December 15th. $250 online GPP. I think it's going to be around 16,000 entries this year. They announced it was a 3.5 million prize pool. So tickets are worth $250. First place is $1 million. And they have these mega qualifiers every couple of weeks, so you can win an entry into another qualifier. And so Bismo has a ton of, I think, $18 ones. Bismo, let us know how many you have, and we can talk about some strategy for that too, because I think it's very important to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny since I've been doing these $1 million missions with you. When we talk about some satellite strategy, I'm a little bit more on the conservative side. It's like, hey, I know you don't want to go full balls deep risk, but now after 12 weeks of talking strategy with you, it's like, dude, one ticket out of a million entries, gotta go full game stack, balls deep. Let's go.
I know.
Um,
Yeah, shit, if we're talking about regrets, we could talk about your lineup too.
yeah. Um, But yeah, as Jake says, damn, 40% Matthews, that's worse than my Lindsey and Driscoll take. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jake. Yeah,
Um,
I honestly, I mean, I was stacking that game to this. So both Brian Hill and Jordan Matthews, I stacked those games,
mm,
which was naturally going to inflate their ownership too.
yeah.
Um, but I thought Matthews I thought he was in a good spot. Thought it was an exploitable secondary. Thought he would play a ton. He did.
Yeah.
Wentz sucked. Matthews sucked. It was a great combination all around.
Yeah. And again, guys, while we're talking about this, if you have questions about the Thursday Turkey Day slate, go ahead and ask us, and we'll go ahead and help you out the best we can. Bismo says he's got 35 to 40 tickets. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible. So 35, 40 tickets at $18 a pop. Pretty nice. You figure you probably need to beat one out of every 15 or 17 entries to get a
Hmm.
ticket. You should be able to get at least two with that. So that's solid. I don't know if Bismo has any other, but like if you get one or even multiple of those $250 tickets, it's very rare to only have to beat 16,000 people for $1 million as opposed to
Yeah.
150,000 or in my case 350,000.
Yeah. I don't know how you want to answer this, Brian. T. Johns, he looks like he's a new guy around here. He says, "What's your guys' best play on the Thursday slate?"
Um, Good question. We're still finishing up the plug, and I don't have an exact answer there, unfortunately. I do like Marvin Jones a lot in that first game. Uh, be on the lookout for Christian Blake, receiver for Atlanta, if Julio can't go. Uh, yeah, that's all I got for now. Sorry, if you have questions about specific players, I'd be happy to answer them, but I haven't fully finalized in my head any rankings.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just looking here at the Occupy model for that Thursday slate. Yeah, not really too much value that I can look at, but go hit us up on Twitter, and we'll go ahead and see what we can do. Divine Glory says Lions D is his best play for the Thursday slate.
I like that. And Jake says Anthony Miller.
Yeah.
Taylor Gabriel is out for the Bears on Thursday. It opens up a ton of snaps. So both Anthony Miller, I also like Javon Wims. He played over 90% of the snaps both
Mhm.
games that Gabriel missed
Yeah,
this year.
absolutely. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So let's jump into the games that you stacked. What are the games that you stacked on your $1 million mission this week?
It wasn't really a question for me. I pretty much locked all three in. Atlanta, I know. Yeah, I
No, no, I
actually
wasn't laughing at you. Lucas is in the chat with the whims alert.
Lucas has his Javon Wims alerts set on his phone. It gets alerted anytime his name is mentioned. So
Yeah.
yeah, big fan of him this week for Thursday. But yeah, so New Orleans and Carolina,
Okay.
dome game, high total. That was easy for me. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. Atlanta fucking sucked. And then I thought Seattle and Philly was very underrated. Didn't expect Carson Wentz to suck. Didn't expect Russell Wilson's and the Seahawks offense to do that bad. I noticed Sunday morning the wind was close to that threshold, that 15-mile-an-hour threshold. It was a little bit cold. And I briefly considered Tennessee and Jacksonville, which our model just absolutely loved.
Yeah.
A lot of guys were high, both DJ Chark and AJ Brown. Which you saw, I didn't even stack that game, and I had like 30-something% AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Both of those guys were on our underperforming receivers list. Derrick Henry made a ton of sense. Fournette, we knew it was due for positive touchdown regression. So I was really close to getting onto that stack, but then with the time crunch and everything, I said, I'm just gonna roll with this. What my original thoughts were.
Yeah, and I was the complete opposite. I had one ticket into the DraftKings Millionaire Maker, and I originally was on a huge game stack with Tennessee, Tampa Bay, Tannehill, Fournette, AJ Brown, Chart, and then I went literally like 15 minutes before lock, switched over to the Dallas New England stack, and when I
We all
went
know how
back,
that went.
and I obviously did not cash. Not even been cash. When I went back and looked what my lineup would have been, it would have been like in the top 250. So not as bad as I thought it was. Still pretty crappy though.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, still top 250 is a pretty decent return on whatever satellite ticket you entered. So
Yeah.
whatever, we got plenty more slates. So.
Absolutely. But that does. I do want to raise the point there that we talked about that for several days, whether it's in the Slack chat, kind of mentioned it a little bit, and some of the individual position players that they ranked decently high in the model. That was one of the sneaky games that I'm surprised we. I don't want to say we overlooked it, but I'm surprised none of us actually stacked that game.
Well, we literally said on our Saturday stream, and for those of you who don't watch Saturday evenings. Normally we do it 6 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes we do it earlier in the day, but we do our Q&As and preview the slate, talk about games to stack for the following day's games. And you and I said, we talked about under the radar stacks. We said we should probably just, instead of playing DFS, bet the over in that game. Like that was word for word what we said on Saturday. Neither one of us did that. Neither one of us stacked it. If you're in the chat, feel free to smack us because that's our faults.
Yeah, if you have any like crappy emote, just like crying emote, go ahead and hit that. See if you have Bible Thump. If you can hit a Bible Thump for us. Let's see. Sammy Side it says, "Dang, that sucks. I only played the 4 p.m. games on FanDuel, but still cash. That's awesome, man." I've noticed that some people, especially in our Discord, is talking about the non-main slate and winning money. That $1, however you make it, is still $1.
Yeah, dude, especially in NHL. There's especially on FanDuel, there's a lot of overlay and satellites on the non-main slates. So don't let that slip your grasp. If you have time and you're willing to do it and your bankroll allows you, definitely check out the late slates and the early slates for satellite overlay, especially on FanDuel.
Absolutely, yeah. I see we have ODU grad in here with the think emote, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and he is also a Twitch Prime subscriber. So for those who didn't listen earlier, we do have a Discord channel available for our Amazon Prime and Twitch Prime subscribers. So if you're a subscriber, you get access to our Discord channel. If you are a subscriber and you can't figure it out, go ahead and hit us up, and we'll make sure you get in that chat. Really, really fun over there.
Hell yeah. So Bismo's question was, which showdown slate is your favorite for Thursday? I actually really like the Detroit-Chicago game, which is crazy.
Okay.
A low total game. Actually, so just a quick content update. Chris and I are banging out the Thursday edition of the Daily Plug. If it's not out tonight, it'll be out early tomorrow morning, Wednesday.
Bang, bang.
It goes through each of the 3 games, talks about high risk and low risk plays for each game, also talks about showdown strategy for each game. And at the end, we tie it all together with the three game main slate strategy.
Okay.
I'm also doing an individual YouTube video for each of the 3 showdown slates. So be sure to follow us and subscribe on YouTube. Those will be out tomorrow before lunchtime.
Yeah, it's so funny. Everything you start off those videos and you're like, all right, this is actually gonna be a 10-minute video. And it's like 18 minutes.
I've been getting good at the 10-minute mark. The last one went a little over. I was excited about Lamar Jackson, but yeah, Chris also makes a good point. There are a ton of free rolls tomorrow or Thursday, for all different types of tickets, all different types of contests. So definitely check it out on DraftKings.
Yes, absolutely. Some really, really good ones there. T. John says, "What's your thought on Dak for Thursday?" I will say he is currently number 1 in the occupied model for quarterbacks for Thursday.
Yep.
So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, Buffalo's been playing a lot of no huddle on offense lately. That should pace up that game, hopefully.
Yeah.
So Dak's in a good spot for sure.
As Bismo says, "Inject the plug into my fucking veins."
Yeah, man, it'll be a good one. I really like the way we laid out this plug.
Yeah. Good. So back to the $1 million mission. I like to look at some of your reverse leverage plays. So you had a negative 29% on Derrick Henry, which was really cool. Not good. That's really not good.
Wait, it went like 40 fantasy points. I have 1%, so there you go.
Minus 11% for Nick Chubb and an 11% for Calvin Ridley. Those were your only players with a negative 10% or lower leverage. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? I no matter how many times I ran it, I really hated how all my lineups were working out on DraftKings, and with an hour and a half to do them, I felt rushed. But I didn't really see a way to make multiple sets of lineups Saturday night to account for this, because Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey were both questionable. They called up Greg Ward, which indicated that one of them likely wouldn't be available. And so even if I made multiple sets of lineups, it'd have been one without the other, not both missing. So I don't know if you have any advice, or if anyone in the chat has any advice on what I could do there, but I felt personally in a bad spot to make those lineups, especially on DraftKings.
So what I did with my 20 lineups, and I eventually ended up just not playing it. So disregard maybe what I'm about to say. But, what I like about DFS Magic, it allows you to customize it very, very well. So I took out the CSV export, took the model values, and then I accounted for the different scenarios. They both play, one plays, the other plays, and the other's out. And then I uploaded that and made 3 different lineups with my 20 lineups. And so I know that, okay, I think I'm feeling pretty good. Whatever news comes out, Sunday morning the news comes out, then I can adjust my lineups accordingly. Maybe that might not make sense with 150 versus 20, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess it's just that I'm so picky, and I'm in the top 1% of our top 1% of DFS Magic users, that I think I tweak a ton more than most. So from the time I start building 150 for a slate, it takes me about an hour, because I'm going back and tweaking and doing salaries and all kinds of things. So I guess I could do that, but again, I still don't think I would have made a set of lineups on Saturday night last week that would have excluded both Aguilar and Jeffrey. I thought for sure one or the other was playing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Speaking of your exposures, do you want to take a look at anyone else's?
Yeah, let's take a look at the DraftKings Millionaire winner this week.
Okay.
See what he or she did.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's see if I can get this up right. Let's see. Yep. So Nam2312 cooked it out. Solid lineup actually. Mayfield, Henry, somehow Bo Scarborough. Just crazy. Landry, Moore, Washington, Cook, Chubb, and the Seahawks defense. That's a interesting lineup to say the least.
Yeah, so let's look at it. So a 3-man Brown stack without running it back. And he probably could have with Parker.
Yeah.
And still been fine here. But let's see. So quarterback, running back, wide receiver 2 stack, maybe wide receiver 1 if you consider Landry the Browns' #1 receiver now. Scarborough, who only had 8 points. Again, running back value was terrible. James Washington, who popped in the model a little bit. And then he had a Jared Cook, DJ Moore game stack, receiver opposite receiver. So that was pretty nice too. Yeah. And then just random 17-point outburst from Seattle.
Yeah. It was tilting to see that, he didn't play the latest player in his flex spot.
Yeah, and I don't know how many lineups he or she made. We'll check here in a second. I'm guilty of that too, because I make 150 and there's actually no realistic chance I'm able to swap if something happens.
Yeah.
I can try my best, but I don't think it matters too much for me. I'm not gonna be able to go in and fix 75 instances of someone if something happens. Yeah. So I ignore it. However, as we'll say in the plug, as I'll say on our videos tomorrow, you definitely have to do this on Thanksgiving with 3 hours between each game.
Yeah.
Especially in low risk contests, you really have to be able to make those swaps, especially in your flex spots. So
yeah, as Bismo points out, DJ Moore was only 5%. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
and then he also said,
yeah, I had a ton of DJ Moore. He just missed the underperforming receivers list. He was in a good spot.
Yeah. As Bismo also pointed out, he says, I played Bourne over McLaughlin and cost me a solo third for 5K. Eesh.
Oh, that sucks. That was in the Sunday night showdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
And as Chris points out, says there should be a setting to try and force the latest start time guy into that flex spot for DFS Magic. We'll reach out to Jack and see if that's something that is implemented, or if there's something we can do to get that implemented for you.
Right. Yeah. Totally. T. John says, who do you like in the Lions game besides Marvin? I'll do tons. Definitely just check out our video tomorrow. If you have questions about a specific player, I'll answer them. But our plug and our YouTube video tomorrow will specifically talk about guys.
Dope. Yeah, and I see we got some new people in here as well. If you have questions about in the the slate on Thursday, individual players. Go ahead and ask them. We're reviewing Brian's 150 lineups right now. If you have questions about maxing yourself, whether it's 20 lineups, 3 entry, 150 entry, you have questions for yourself, for Brian, go ahead and ask in the chat, and we'll definitely make sure to help you guys out.
Yes, please do
All
that.
right, cool. So if we look here at Nam on Fantasy Labs, let's see how he looked.
Festivals just joining. Festivals are a top 3 cheer this month, which, by the way, we're running out of time. It is the 26th. So when is? Hold on, let me see here.
All right, so this dude's the GOAT. He had 1 entry.
Whoa, what a beast!
Yeah.
That could have been you.
It very easily could have been.
Hmm.
Yeah. So real quick, why don't you tell the people that are in the chat here what the top cheers are?
Yeah. So just sorry, but yeah, the Saturday stream will be the cutoff because that's the 30th, the last day of the month.
Yeah.
So our top 3 cheers, you can donate bits to us. We're not required by any means. We just appreciate it, and to show our thanks, especially during the week of Thanksgiving. The top 3 cheers, and we'll probably do something for JoJo too, who gifted 5 subs earlier in the month. So we appreciate that too. Get a percentage of my FanDuel Thursday million earnings. So we'll see. I've been doing a different approach on FanDuel, but either way, it'll be a GPP share of some sort for next Thursday's showdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, and you can cheer as little as 1 penny, which is 1 bit, to get to the 3rd spot. 400 bits, and you get a chance at, I wouldn't say life changing, but week changing payday.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so he had
1 entry. That's crazy. Wow.
Well, if you take a look at the leaderboard here on Fantasy Labs, it shows the username, their entries, and then their lineup. First, third, and fourth were all single entries.
Damn, good for them. That's awesome.
Yeah. The top 150 player finished 16th. The top greater than 1 person entry was Jazz Raz with 20 entries.
Damn, not a great week for not a banner week for the 150 maxers. It looks like. What did Jazz Raz do? I think he had 20 entries, so I think we could probably learn a little bit from
absolutely.
what he did with his 20.
Let's take a look here. So Jazz Raz, he did 59 players across 20 entries.
That's more than I would suggest, but again, he just got second to million, so.
And his top leverage player was Vance McDonald, tight end for the Pittsburgh, and Denver defense at 35 and 31% respectively. Also, Zach Ertz was leveraged at 31%.
So he had a ton of Zach Ertz. I do like what he did though with a bunch of guys, 25 to 50%.
Mm-hmm.
He must have used an optimizer or like manually did it because, lots of guys in the 25 to 40% range for him. So that was pretty good.
Absolutely. And I see we have Fescal, who just cheered 100 bits with the Kappa emote.
1,000 bits, bro.
Yeah, so he takes the #1 spot. So that's awesome.
Yes, thank you, Festival, for the 1,000 bit cheer. I will try to do good by you next Thursday. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, and as Chris points out, Jazz Raz is a sharp player. He's a golf guy for Osimo, I think he said. So shout out to him. That's awesome that he's do that. There's more people cheering. Festival, keep it coming, guys. Love to see that action going on.
Yeah, we've actually talked about Jazz Raz before. I believe he's if you look on the Roto Grinders, you can type in people's usernames and get the rankings. Ranking system's flawed, but at least gives us an idea of who some of the higher volume, sharper players are. He's top 100 in the tournament player of the year ranking. So Clearly a guy that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I do want to see the highest ranked 150 player, Tom J.K. Let's take a look at him really quick.
He is also a pro. I think he's actually partners with Osimo.
Okay. So 150 lineups, 101 player pool, and his max player was Alvin Kamara at 98%.
Damn. And he didn't even do that great, but he got there with some receptions late.
Yeah. Some other high leverage plays, Leonard Fournette, Darren Waller, Denver defense. So it looks like Denver defense was a top play across some of those players.
Doesn't make me feel that bad then that they scored 4 points in my top scoring FanDuel lineup.
Yeah.
If so many other people are on them.
Yeah. As Sammy Side says, they did a video on how he came to that lineup. I guess he's referring to Jazz Rat. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, I'd be curious if he actually like individually made the lineups. If that's the case, those videos are great.
Yeah.
But if he's pretending that he made that lineup individually and it was one of 20 from an optimizer or lineup builder, I don't know how. I don't know. I haven't seen the video. I'm not going to comment. I'm sure it's a great video.
Yeah.
Not gonna be salty here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. As people in the chat are talking about, it's probably great promotion for DraftKings and FanDuel. They say, oh, this guy had one entry and banked $1 million. So put it in $20, turn into $1 million overnight.
I mean, they literally say that it was on. If you watch the red zone towards the end when it's dying down and they've been doing their DraftKings promos, Scott Hansen's like, oh, sign up now, deposit a free $3 entry, chance out of $100,000 or whatever it is. But yeah, that's the ultimate marketing. So that's how they started, and they're going to continue to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you need to somehow incorporate red zone with your DFS lineups, so it'll just turn to whenever your highest leverage guys are on the field.
That'd be fucking sick. That'd be so tight.
That's the new $1 million mission.
And yeah, no. What's going to be in the future though? It's going to be like hologram Scott Hansen, but it's personalized for you. So let's check in. Brian, Derrick Henry's in the red zone. You're 250th in the Millionaire Maker now. Let's see what he can do for you. And it turns.
That'd be insane. I thought you were going to say something like the NBA like VR thing where you can like visually see the game up front. So like if Derrick Henry's on the 20, like on the 2-yard line, you can go in and it'll look like you're right beside him. Like go.
I don't know if I need all that, especially if he gets tackled. Like, oh god damn it. But yeah, definitely some personalized red zone would be great.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I like about Fantasy Labs as we start to wrap this up here, and again, guys, keep asking questions. I love the chatter going on, talking about different stuff. Keep it coming. If you have questions about the Thursday slate, about 150 max and 20 max and single entry, game theory, any of that kind of stuff, go ahead and ask it. We'd like to talk about duplicate lineups on here.
It was a doozy this week, huh? You were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and apparently Twitter is going off. Also, Lucas says college football red zone. That's the $1 million mission.
I will say, if you're an Occupy member and you're not reading the College Football Daily Plug, I understand it's not available in every state, but if it's available to you, you should definitely be playing. I'm literally considering driving across state lines to start playing. Lucas has been crushing it. He has like 1 million tickets to every contest. So big ups to Lucas. Definitely read the plug and follow him if you're not already.
I know last Saturday we did a Saturday stream, and I'm in one of the lucky states that allows me to play college football. And so I'm like, hey, let me go ahead and try this out. I talked with him, and yeah, crushed, won every contest. And I was like, boom. Okay, this is tight. Yeah, as Festival says, all day Twitter feed has been going on about multiple lineups. I know there was a big Reddit thread where some guy was saying 41 out of my 100 lineups were the same one. A couple people in there were like, "Oh, well, that was just a chalk play." We're like, no, that's no.
I mean, listen, there's many, especially on smaller slates. There's many reasons to believe that the best players in the world will come across the optimal lineup, right? Mm-hmm. However, on a 9-game or 11-game main slate, when there isn't clear chalk, right? Like JJ Arcega-Whiteside was not clear chalk. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe they're not saying, "Hey, here's a lineup," and they have a group chat and they say, "All right, everyone use this." However, maybe they are using the same projection system and everyone has access to that. If that's against the rules, I don't know. But we can't also pretend that these people are coming. 41 different people are coming on these lineups individually without consulting or using some sort of similar tool. So, yeah, I understand the talk about it. Again, it just goes to show contest selection is super important. Why would you play a contest where 41 people are going to use the same lineup, especially 41 sharp people?
Yeah, and as Jake says, what even are the rules?
It's a great question.
FanDuel, to my understanding, technically doesn't have any rules. DraftKings has the community guidelines, which basically says you can't buy lineups. You need to have some sort of randomness to an
which
optimizer.
also isn't enforced at all either. So
No, it's not enforced at all.
most of these aren't enforced at all unless something bad happens and then it's enforced.
Yeah. Um, as Chris says, the rules are pick the right players and win all the money.
Yeah, I have not been following that rule. So
Yeah, so if we take a look here at the most duplicated lineup, um, 254 users did it 263 times.
fuck, it's so stupid.
And if you look here, it did the old backup tight end with a starting tight end at flex.
Well, the lesser known line of construction. Every single time, this shit blows me when I assume it's roto grinders, right? That's the biggest. I assume it's optimal from roto grinders.
That's what I assume.
Yeah. So there you go.
So you
Always
have
interesting to look at.
that, and then the other two lineups that had at least 100 users enter it. OJ Howard in the flex spot with Bo Scarborough again at running back, and then the other one was Dallas Goedert in the flex spot. So all three, what we assume are optimized lineups with over 100 entries, all had tight end at flex. All right.
Right. Yeah. And as Bismo says in the chat, Roto Radar is I think relatively well known if you're on Twitter because they retweet a fucking 1,000 things all the time, but they give out exact FanDuel lineups right before lock, which again, that's their MO. That's if people want to do that, good for them. But again, FanDuel doesn't enforce it. I don't think they even have a rule against it. It is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of things to navigate in DFS. If you focus on your game, focus on the right contest selection, focus on the right plays, the right process, none of this shit even matters.
Yeah. I will say, though, just one comment about FanDuel. It makes it. I'm not siding with these conspiracy theorists whatsoever, at all, saying that they cheat.
You don't agree with FanDuel cheats?
I do not agree with FanDuel cheats. I will say though that they make a case. I'm not saying that they're right. The fact that FanDuel doesn't have a community guidelines, they don't enforce any rules, they don't have any sort of like CSV export. There's no way to verify what is actually going on in the contest, so we have to take them for their word basically.
Jake says you were secretly FanDuel cheats. For those who don't know, FanDuel cheats is this Twitter guy who like I don't know he just posts all the time about FanDuel cheating and some other conspiracy theories.
Yeah, he tagged the New York State Police, like the SEC.
That was the best part.
It's like individual people. I was like, Jesus Christ, bro.
You make a good point though. Most like DraftKings has a CSV export. We can go back and look at all lineups and whatnot, and also for selfishly our reasons, like the ability to go back and research lineup constructions, ownership and plays and whatnot. It makes it a lot tougher on FanDuel than DraftKings. So selfishly, would love to see that, and I think for them it makes a ton of sense for transparency.
Yeah, transparency is where it's at, bro. As Chris says, I am both FanDuel cheats and Jameis 1 of 1. Maybe that's why Jameis always is at the top of the model.
That's exactly why Moose's Jameis 1 and literally puts in Jameis's inputs by himself and changes them.
Yep. Yeah, and so we take a look at that. The other one I like to look at is the salary distribution. What percent of entries used X salary? And this doesn't really mean a lot on main slates. It means a ton on showdown slates where you need to be unique and there's a lot of duplicated lineups. I post a lot of stuff. I need to start doing it more. I post it more in the Discord chat. So another reason to just subscribe and get in the Discord chat. A lot of the showdown ownership, captain and flex ownership, as well as duplicated lineups and stuff like that. If you look here, over half the entries used all salary. What do you take about that?
It probably should be higher, right? I mean, that's a good number. We talked about it before. There's really no reason to go below $500 left over on a main slate. And actually, I have an idea, Moose.
Okay.
Can we look at, since Thanksgiving's around the corner and we've answered some Thanksgiving questions, can you look at last year's Thanksgiving big GPP and look at how the winners did as far as salary left over and then what the field was doing, so we can see if we need to leave more over on a 3-game slate?
Let's see if DraftKings Fantasy Labs has that. If not, we may have to jump over to somewhere else that might have it. But let's see.
They should. It was it's November 29th. No, the 22nd. I don't know. 29th or 22nd.
All right, so let's see. And I know that the date column here is really dumb on Fantasy Labs. You have to pick the day the contest came out or
That's
something
stupid.
like that. So I'm not
Well,
sure.
check the drop down menu for the contest and see if it's listed.
What is it called?
I think it's the Wishbone is on DraftKings is the big one on FanDuel. I mean the big one on Thanksgiving.
No, it doesn't look like they have it. No, they don't have it.
On the 22nd or the 29th.
No, it redirects it to that week's millionaire maker.
And if you hit the drop down menu, it doesn't have the contest drop down menu.
It does. It has just the other big ones: the luxury box, the wildcat, and the slant.
God damn it. Well,
RIP. But
if we find something out, we'll post it.
I'll
Yeah.
find something out, and I'll go ahead and post it to my Twitter, so you can go ahead and follow me at CFB_Moose
Yeah,
for that.
perfect.
Let's while we wrap up here, let's take a look at the last. If I can figure out how the hell to get this back to normal. There we go. All right. Position usage. I know you guys can't see it. 13% of tight end was in the flex spot for last week's Millionaire Maker on
How much
DraftKings.
of that do you think is influenced? I mean, it can't be that. It's still like 200,000 entries. But how much do you think is influenced by that one specific optimizer that always spits out tight end flex?
Well, I mean, so how many entries is it? 176,000, and if we do 13%, that's 23,000 entries. 23,118 entries had it. And if we go back to the duplicated lineups tab, the top three account for 500 of it. So
It's probably not that much.
I mean, maybe a percentage or so.
Gotcha.
But you're also considering that people also may use, if not the optimizer, they may use something else similar to like that same projection system to say, hey, this person is projecting a tight end, or maybe the article that they're doing. I honestly don't know.
You want to know a secret?
What?
Since we're all friends and family here, my top lineup on DraftKings because I'm a fucking idiot and I forgot to click the setting in DFS Magic. My top lineup actually was a double tight end lineup
Oh God.
on DraftKings.
Jake
But
says,
as Jake says though, Ertz and Goddard, that stack didn't make sense, and I did allow that to happen.
Mhm.
So that's one exception I think where two guys can literally be the leaders on their own team.
yeah,
Makes sense to me. Or even like a Kelsey Kittle game stack if they
yeah,
play each other.
yeah. And that is something that I'm looking more into is position or like formation play by play. Turns out very hard to come by unless you know the right people.
Or willing to pay the right money.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah. So that being said, we'll be here for a couple more minutes, 2 more minutes. If you have any last rapid fire questions, definitely go ahead and ask them here in the chat. If you're not already, go ahead and hit that follow button so you'll be notified of when we go live again. We'll be back Saturday talking about the main slate. If you have questions about the Thanksgiving slate, go ahead and ask them as well. Okay, Bismo says he has a question. The big $3.20 max GPP is filled with hella no badges. Hella no badges is my new tattoo. $4 covers 3 maxes and have like a 3,000 player field, but are filled with high badges. I've been entering 10 lines in the 20 max lately, and it's been decent. What are your thoughts on that? What is more optimal? Half entries with a lot of no badges, or 3 max versus experienced players?
Fucking SAT question, Bismo. Yeah, obviously less experienced players is great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can research the entire field, but if you can get a sense that it looks that way, 10 versus 20 isn't a huge difference. But yeah, if experienced players are flooding the $4 and you've been tracking your results, again, we talk about tracking results being one of the most important things you do in DFS. And if you find that you're profitable entering only 10 out of 20 in a contest that seems to have less experienced players, then continue to do it. That's the best way to approach it.
Yeah. Chris makes a point. He says, smaller field contests are easier to win. A lower, quote unquote, top score typically takes down first place than the larger field contest. That's his answer. I would say, again, with the no experience badges, I would say excuse me, 10 lineups still get you enough exposure. I know we normally say don't do it unless you can max it, but 10 out of 20, especially if it fits within your bankroll, I think is okay.
Yeah, I think so. But like Chris said, though, it's a huge field.
Yeah.
I assume he's talking about the big play action, which is like 600,000 people.
Okay.
So yeah, he's got to be careful there. It's definitely a balance. But
Yeah.
again, tracking is the answer. If you find you're profitable, then keep doing it.
Absolutely. And as Jake says, one train leaves Chicago. It's talking about SAT questions. But his actual question is Freeman coming back this week for sure?
Not for sure, but it seems likely. He practiced Monday and Tuesday. He had an original 2-week time frame on his injury. It's been 2 weeks now.
Okay.
I would expect to see him. It's not like Brian Hilton lighting the fucking world on fire, so imagine Freeman will come back.
Yep. All right. That being said, Brian, do you have any last words before I take us out of here?
Just lots of content this week. Thursday's going to be great. Grateful for a lot of things this year. So yeah, we're going to give back with Daily Plug, OccupyFantasy.com. We're going to have the Thursday one up, probably Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Go through all 3 games. We'll have the NFL main slate plug up Friday evening. Going to have a bunch of YouTube videos this week, especially for Thanksgiving. So be sure to follow us and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Jimmy in here says, thank you guys. A couple people saying good luck, happy Thanksgiving. So that being said, guys, if you're here, go ahead and hit that follow button. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, bell notification. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at CFB_Moose. You can follow Brian at Brian Jester FF. You can follow us on Occupy Fantasy at Occupy Fantasy, OccupyFantasy.com. Membership as low as $2 per week. Moose, Brian, let's have a good night and be thankful for what we have.